being with Shane. Did you know him before you signed here or no?
He came to Duke when I was coming out, and we spent a day. We shot some hoops in Cameron Indoor, but that was the bit I knew him.
Yeah, and so how has that relationship progressed? He obviously had a great run when he was in Philly, and I know he was with Phillip Rivers back in the day and loves to do all the jittery Phillip Rivers stuff, but how's your relationship going with Shane?
It's been good. I've enjoyed working with him. I think, he's had so much success with so many different guys. I think I saw that, and that was cool to me. And then getting here, just communicating, I think, throughout the week, how he sees the game plan. And then once we get to Friday, Saturday, he's pretty specific about how he sees the game plan out. Hey, in this situation, I'm thinking this or this, and this is what we expect them to do. And, be ready for this, be ready for that. And I think that communication has really helped me prepare, kind of like, some of the stuff we were talking about earlier. Because then you go, hey, I got to go back and look at this look, or hey, I got to go back and see what this issue could be and this pressure. What do I need to be ready for here? And I think that's really helpful. But
what about you wear a wristband? Yeah.
Did
you wear one in New York?
I did, yeah. I did.
I like the
Are you anti?
He's
no, I like a wristband.
He likes the wristband.
Especially when it's somewhere loud. Wristband 15. All right.
It's a little quicker.
So do you read it to yourself and then you read it out loud? Do you read it out loud the first time?
I just read it out loud. Yeah.
And then
so he'll give me like
a
wristband 34, and then an abbreviated version of you got this play, and so I know what it is, and then I'll read it.
Okay, so
I don't know this. Do y'all study that? Like, do you get a wristband before the game?
I would never. Yes, but I would never study the number. You're not going to be like, 17. I know what that play is. But so he then does tell it in
practicing reciting it, like maybe the night before the game or the morning of the game. Do you ever or you just read it?
I practice like the plays that aren't on the wristband.
Okay.
Yeah. So but I don't practice reading it, but all the plays that are in the game plan. So it's like, hey, why move to trio right stack on third down? You're like, okay, this what the play, you should know what that is. But
do you predetermine on the wristband on third down cadences and stuff, or no?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
here and there.
Yeah, there's always little tidbits, I guess, that you could put on there too. Mm-hmm. We did it a little bit, not a ton. Sometimes you have to flip them. I don't know if you guys are doing that on yours, or you just have them.
We have both ways. I've had to flip them before. Yeah. Flip them before.
Every now and again, you get a young guy that says Lou instead of Ron or something with the checkdowns. But what about Tyler Warren? So coming out of the draft, there was a coach that called me. He said, "This is the best tight end I've ever seen come out of college. In my 20 years of scouting, this dude is a stud. Certainly looks that way."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he's a stud. He's a stud, and pretty much since the first day he got here, you're like, wow, this guy. He just does what you'd expect him to do. I think I've tried to explain it to people as a quarterback, there's a lot of stuff that's a little gray, or you haven't talked about it all the way, or it's not a hard and fast rule. And in those situations, he kind of just does what you'd predict, or what you'd expect him to do, or what you'd want him to do. And as a young player, I think that's, I certainly haven't seen it. And, he's just got a knack for getting open, making plays. He's tough, finishes runs. He's going to get the extra 3 or 4 yards. Smart football player. But he's been big for us.
Talk me about Jonathan Taylor. Like, what really makes him so unique and special just from your time around him?
I think, I think his size and speed, for one. I mean, there's not too many guys. I mean, Saquon, you talk about guys who are 230 or whatever he is, but can also run past, all the DBs on the field and hit the home run. Like, that's a big difference maker. For us, the guys up front have played, off the charts. And then, so I think we've seen in some of these games, you wear on them a little bit in the first half and you got a lot of 4 or 5 yard runs. And then the second half, like here comes a 20 yarder, here comes a 40 yarder. And that I think is that's a huge deal. It's nice as a quarterback, you hand the ball off and you get a huge.
Nice as a lineman too.
Yeah.
I'll take that one.
It seems like Downs is a dude that's really easy to throw to too.
Yeah,
he just kind of gets it. But it's like I love the way the offense is set up where you've got these huge targets and big dudes on the outside and him being able to work on the inside. How the rapport with Michael Pittman and with Alec Pierce on the outside. What I keep saying is it just seems like you're in such a great rhythm. Your feet look awesome, but every ball's on the face mask too. Have you had big guys like that to throw to? Like how How advantageous has that been for you to be able to have those big dudes on the outside?
Yeah, like you said, I think each one of those guys kind of does something a little bit different for us and brings something different to the table. I think the size is huge with Pittman, going over the middle, making tough catches, fighting through contact. AP down the field and can go up and catch the ball. Obviously, he can run, and then he can go up and high point it over guys. I think that's a big deal. And like you said, Josh has been huge, especially on third down when you're counting on guys to find little spots and get, you need 4 or 5 yards and it's going to be a tight window. He does that really well, finds that spot, catches it. And, but the big guys outside are a big deal. I think you got, guys who are physical, can body a guy, catch an in cut, or can go up and, high point the ball when it's up there. I think that's a big deal.
So it's Pittman Jr. Have you ever seen Senior? Were you old enough to see Senior?
I think I saw him a little bit when I was
the biggest arms,
no question.
The biggest arms you've ever seen in your life. He played for the Cardinals. So growing up, you played for the Cardinals, and he played for Tampa. But you ask him a question, I'm going to pull up a picture.
Yeah, you pull up that. Let me ask you this, because obviously Fitz he loves all of to get into leadership stuff, and one of the things I think is unique about the situation. You come into Indy, obviously you just left Minnesota, being there with Sam and KOC and them for a little bit of the last past of the year, but you come into this, you're obviously trying to compete for the job, but there's almost a thing there of you don't know if it's your job or not, you're trying to earn it. So it's less about really being a captain or being the guy who's telling people what to do or any of that type of stuff. It's more about just earning that respect. What was that mentality like? And then now that you've got the job, y'all are having success, do you feel anything that has to be different? I kind of get the idea you're kind of the same guy all the time regardless, but how has that been like for you?
Yeah, I think the last thing anyone wants is the new guy who comes in and talks too much or has too many opinions about things. So I think, just coming in and trying to learn it, learn how things have been going around here. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys in the locker room who were drafted here. Most of the guys, I think there's a lot of people who've stuck around here and have done things one way for a long time. I think so learning that and learning kind of how the locker room operates, trying to get to know guys, working hard, trying to show that you're about football, you're about the right stuff, and then I think playing well. I mean, you're playing well at practice. I think guys want to see you do the right thing, put the ball in the right spot, get in the right play. I think earning guys' trust that way. I think it's about what happens on the field at the end of the day, right? So,
yeah, the two things I love most about you, aside from the physical and all those traits that you have, and we were talking about this before you came on, but you're tough as shit. And that part, I think that gets overlooked. The things that you went through in New York, not the mental part of it, but the physical part of it, the toll it took on your body. But the fact that you just kept getting up and taking the hits and not complaining and getting up, that to me was all right, this dude won me over. Even when the seasons weren't going as you needed or wanted them to go, that won me over. And then the second part is a quarterback has dealt with adversity. There's not going to be a lot of stuff that comes your way this year that you haven't been through before, that you haven't had to handle. And so the leadership aspect of it and coming in, I think these big fellas, right away, they love you because they've seen the toughness, they've seen the grit and the way that you've handled yourself in the past. And the second part of it is you don't flinch. So you guys have had a great start to the season, but when something happens this year and it doesn't go your way, you're a guy that's already been there and you've done that. And so as we're talking about quarterbacks and previewing the season, those to me are the two things that stood out as to why I love you so much, your game and the way that you play, because you approach it the right way. So there's no question in there. Yeah. But
thank you, I appreciate that.
There's Pittman's dad. He's a fucking monster.
Monster.
So he lives in Arizona now. I actually saw him at a indoor soccer game the other day, and he's still yoked.
Is he?
But it's just his son obviously is taller and more slender than he is, but he's a big ass dude.
Yeah.
So.
Did you play with him?
I never did, no. But I grew up
there's
I think I played with 40% of the NFL.